Hello, hello, hello. Dana Wilde here, and I'm so excited for today's show because one of the hopes I kind of had when Train Your Brain was launched was I knew like I have a certain group of people that I really want to talk to, like entrepreneurs. That's my thing. I love it. I'm really like passionate about being self-employed and building a business, but my hope was always that people would learn Train Your Brain, they'd embody Train Your Brain, they'd find their own voice with it, they'd find their own methods and incorporate themselves into it, and then go out there and just spread the love in like tons of markets. And that is exactly what has happened with Heather Russell Van Marken. She was supposed to be here a few weeks ago, literally like 3-4 weeks ago for a show, and we had technical difficulty. And so she ended up coming in today to redo the show, and she's gone through so many changes since then. You know, she went through the celebrity formula with me, and what she realized was that her thing, the thing she loved to do, was really help moms bring back that sparkle. You know, Heather herself, she's got 4 kids, and she could see in herself where she had a time where she had kind of lost her sparkle, and she knows what she did to bring it back. And so she was in a direct sales business that was helping women in that capacity, and now it feels like because of the celebrity formula, she has just stepped into it even bigger. So I just can't wait to talk to her about how this transition happened, what she's up to now, and how you can get your sparkle back too. So hi, Heather.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so glad that you're here. You know, I just think this was a huge leap of faith for you to make this shift, because you were going along in a direct sales business, you were successful, you were speaking to this market, and you've gone through some shifts like with the celebrity formula and some training you've been taking that suddenly made you go like, you know what, I want to kind of go out on my own and do this. And so what was the thought process there? How did it happen? Like, you know, were you scared?
Yes, definitely. It happened because I just sort of had an epiphany one day, and I can't really describe it any other way. It was just very clear all of a sudden that I needed to help more people. That was one thing. And secondly, that I was only staying in my direct sales company because of fear. And that is not how I live my life. I don't make choices based on fear anymore. So I just decided, hey, it's time to do this. And it was very clear that this was the right time. So I went ahead and did it. And yes, it's very scary.
Now, tell me a little bit about that fear, because I think that probably speaks to a lot of people. So you were staying with your direct sales company because you kind of knew like, okay, I've got this income coming in. This is working. This is money. And I'm happy. It's not like, oh, I'm so unhappy or something. And so what was the fear there?
Yeah, no, I was really happy. It wasn't that I was unhappy. It was more just, you know, it's simple. It's all laid out for you in a direct sales company. You don't have to create anything. You're not really reinventing the wheel there. You're just sort of, you know, picking up what other people have laid out and running with it. And I was doing really well, and I was quite good at it, if I do toot my own little horn. But, you know, it wasn't for lack of success. So it was more about I needed to be authentic to my own guidance, to the guidance that I was getting so clearly, to step away so that I could make room for this new beautiful thing that I feel called to do. So that's so what I'm doing.
I just love that you're doing this too. And I want to talk a little bit about who you're talking to, because I think this is really important to me, because I know like it's so exciting for me to think that moms are going to be able to learn from someone like you, because, you know, I also like to be authentic, and I'm not a mom. I mean, I can say like, okay, this is how you apply brain training to anything. I'm not a golfer either, but I can tell you how to apply it to your golf game. But it's not the same as having somebody who's really like, you're implementing mindset, and you've got another leg that you really think are two very important pieces, which is mindset and radical self-care. And so I want to break these up. First of all, let's start with why specifically moms?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, I just have a heart for moms because I am a mom, and I have been, you know, around moms a lot, because when you're a mom, that's what happens. And also just everyone I know every single mom I know feels overwhelmed, overscheduled, strung out, some sort of overstretched, adjective applies to every mom I know. Yeah, right. And also moms have this whole, I call it in the book I'm writing, I call it the martyrdom syndrome, because I feel like we get into this pit of dark energy where we just think no one sees us and we think no one appreciates what we do. And we're just literally serving to the point of like death, martyrdom. Like, really, what are we doing this? And so I have been there so many times and I continue to be there. Like I'm still doing this work myself every single day. And so, that just really speaks to me as a need that's really prevalent in the world right now. So
it's funny too, because I can, and I don't know if it's like being the eldest daughter or if it's from being raised Catholic or whatever it is, but when you use this terminology, this martyrdom and this kind of selflessness, I can remember too, like really being raised, ingrained in me, like, oh no, let the kids have that. I'm the oldest. And I can see how it's carried into adulthood, how there's this feeling of like, and selflessness sounds so, I don't know, maybe that's the wrong word, but it feels like that's where you get your feel goods. It's like, I'm so good because I'm so selfless. I'm giving so much to everybody else. It's like an ego thing almost, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's like the answer is sacrifice more. Yeah. Like that's where we put ourselves, which is insane, Yeah. And I do feel like I hear so many people say, I heard somebody this week say to me, oh, well, you know how it is. We put our kids and our families and everything else first before our own self-care. And I'm just on a mission to recreate that because.
Oh my gosh. And Heather, that means so much to me that you use that specific thing, because I know that how it is phrase is just so dangerous. I've had people come into my world and say, well, you know how it is. Women are catty and they don't get along. Yeah. And I'm like, no, that's not how it is. Who told you that?
That's when we say, how's that story working for you? Exactly. How's that story working?
How's that story working for you? Exactly. And that's it. This whole, how it is, we put our kids first. I mean, that's the myth to bust. That is the myth to bust. And that it's not only okay to put yourself first, but it's better for your kids if you're putting yourself first and taking care of yourself. And so is the mindset piece of it, besides the stuff that we kind of have learned here as brain trainers about busting yourself and things like that, is the mindset piece of it in your work then really claiming that and saying that?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly claiming that everything in your life is a story and all that matters is the story you're telling. So how do we get there? How do we get to telling a different story? Because that sounds really simple, but when you're sleep deprived and everyone is crying and having a fit on the grocery store floor, it's not so simple to just be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm putting myself first now while you all are spazzing out. I'm going to go have a manicure. Just excuse me.
Right. And I think that's what people think when they hear mindset. They sometimes think, oh, well, I should just be happy in this moment when my kids are having tantrums on the grocery store floor. No, girl, do not feel happy in that moment. That's too much of a leap. And so how do we step it up? How do we soothe ourselves into, moving up the emotional scale? We all know the emotional scale here. Obviously, we're all brain trainers, but how do we do that when you're in one of those moments? We're not always able to access that in that moment. So kind of tools for doing that is my mindset side of things.
Yeah, it's like really getting ultra aware in that moment and just being able to pull back. And if you can even get to neutral, oh, thank goodness, that's so good. And so tell me a little more about the radical self-care piece, because I think when people think self-care, they think, well, what do you want me to be getting a massage once a week? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. And I think when people hear radical, they think extreme, as in the self-care needs to be extreme, but that's actually not what it means. For me, radical self-care is prioritizing self-care over those other things. And again, the purpose of which is that you can be better available to do that service that you're intending to do. I'm not saying you shouldn't serve your family. I'm saying you should serve yourself and then serve your family. So just prioritizing it as a number one priority every single day. And it doesn't have to be a massage. It doesn't have to be, some people's I love when you say some people's break is go play with the dog for 5 minutes. Go sit under a tree outside. That can do wonders for your mood and for your mindset. So naming those things, kind of making your own self-care plan that works for you, and then finding out how you can either start taking steps towards that every day, or how you can implement a small version of that every day. And I do think we can, maybe reading is your thing. You can read for 2 minutes, no matter how busy you are, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And you feel like you did something for yourself then too.
Exactly.
I know sometimes even when I don't exercise, like if I just stretch my body, I think like, okay, I did it. I did something.
Right. Yeah, you show up differently in everything you do that day. If you feel like I care about myself and I did something to prove it, that's powerful. That's really powerful.
And listen to that message you just said. Like what you're doing is you're telling yourself the message, I care about myself and I did something to prove it. So I want to go back to this sentence you said where you talked about you should prioritize it, and you should I think you said something like make a list or and so are you really saying like I'm going to make a list of these are the things I would consider self-care, and I'm going to look at this little menu of items and I'm going to pick a little something every day to do for myself, and by prioritize it meaning I'm going to do it as early in the day as I can. Like is that kind of the assessment of where you're going with this?
Do it as early in the day, or just make an appointment for it so that it actually happens. So you're not just sort of leaving it to chance at the end of the day. If there's time, I'll do this thing. No, you're scheduling it into your day. And I have a freebie on my website that walks you through a little bit more detail on that step. Like, how do I make that list? And how do I figure out baby steps and that sort of thing?
Oh, I love that. And actually, let's do that then. Let's take a quick break, make sure we're all coming through here, and let's talk about that right now. I want you to go check out Heather, because I'm talking to Heather Russell Van Marken. She is an intuitive mindset coach for moms. And man, moms, am I right? You can use an intuitive mindset coach, can't you? So if you go over to sparkleheather.com, you're going to see that there's a 5 ways to get your sparkle back list. Now, is that included in there, what you were talking about here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so sparkleheather.com. I can't wait till we come back, because I'm going to talk to her a little bit about her bullet journaling too, which I know you're absolutely going to love, and her journey stepping into her celebrity. And so make sure to check out sparkleheather.com during the break, but we'll be back in 90 seconds, and you're definitely going to want to hear about the bullet journal. Be right back. Hello, and welcome back. We're having a really good conversation here with Heather Russell Van Marken. She is an intuitive mindset coach for moms, and it's so fun to see her taking these concepts of mindset and radical self-care and living her passion. She's really stepped into her celebrity, and she's living her passion and bringing the message to moms that, hey, it's not only okay to put yourself first, it's like essential. Like being the best you is also going to make you the best mom. And the better you feel, the better your kids are going to feel, and the better equipped you're going to be to deal with whatever life throws you. And it's like when you say it, it just is like so obvious, right? And so how did we get here in this culture where we don't talk about this nonstop? It's like you have to get out there with a bullhorn and just spread the love, Heather. Make sure and do that. So I want to make sure that you head over to sparkleheather.com. If you go over to sparkleheather.com and you get her 5 ways to get your sparkle back, what'll happen is she actually walks you through some of the steps how you can make radical self-care a priority rather than just this concept of something that you put off till the end of the day. So, Heather, I wanted to come back and ask you a little bit about a bullet journaling, because I know this is something you do, and I'm wondering if this came out of, it feels like we're getting kind of hip to concepts about spirituality and meditation and connecting and all this stuff, and then there almost becomes this whole new list of things to do, like I need to be journaling every day, and I should make a vision board once a month, and I need to be doing this. And so did you create the bullet journal kind of for moms because it's like, oh my God, the last thing moms need is an hour of journaling every day? How did it happen, right?
Yeah, an hour of journaling is not happening. Definitely not. It happened because I have it right here. It's like never far from my side.
Hold it up. I want to see what that looks like. Sorry for the podcast audience. You don't get to see this. You have to come over to the live stream to check it out. That is so cool. So
it's my weekly spread.
It's beautiful too. The colors and everything.
Thank you.
Gorgeous.
Yes, I like color.
Isn't it funny? We're going to lose Heather right when she's there she is. Go, Heather, go. You're here. You're back.
Do something really quick.
No,
okay. I think it's going to stay now. Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. I think I fixed something. I created it because I was using other planners and they didn't fit me. And I was sick of trying to fit me into this like set up planner. You know, most planners don't have space for 4 kids worth of activities and all of the stuff that I need to remember. And so the entrepreneur in me was just like, I just should make this myself if it doesn't exist. And so that's what a bullet journal is. It's really a journal, of a planner that you create. So it's exactly what you need in any moment. And that to me is so important because having everything in just one place is key to keeping my sanity.
Oh, I can imagine. And also in a short way that you can do it. And by the way, just since, you know, you're here, I might as well just tell you, you can learn about her bullet journal over at sparkleheather.com/BUJO, Bujo, B like boy, UJO, sparkleheather.com/Bujo. And so I wanted to come back around and ask you one more question about stepping into your celebrity, because I think that it was a pretty big transformation, what happened from the beginning of the celebrity formula until now where you are now. And I'm wondering if there are people out there who are kind of feeling like, because you seem really together and you seem like, oh, you just came out of the womb this way, you're so put together, and you do amazing live streams, and it just seems natural that you would be a celebrity. Of course you would, because you just of who you are. And so how was that transformation for you? What do you think happened along the way?
Oh, we don't have enough time or enough battery on my phone for what happened along the way. But I will say this, I mean, the people that I met in my cohort and what they saw in me during the course, and you, Dana, as well, of course, was really informative to me. Like, I think it just really changed the paradigm through which I saw my entire world. And that's not an understatement. I know it sounds really lofty, but that is exactly what happened. And that's what happens when you step into your celebrity. You fully realize everything you are, and that's what you're moving forward with in your business. And it's just so powerful. So I think before I was just kind of playing it small and safe. And through the course, it was fun to be challenged to get out of that mindset and just to really kind of dream about the possibilities and then step into that.
Do you know what's funny? I don't think I ever made this parallel before until you just said all that. But what's interesting is I think that we're really doing the same thing. You just said, like, other people saw you differently than you were. It's almost like you have to get outside of yourself to see how awesome you are, because everybody is a celebrity. Everybody is a unique character celebrity. And I think you're doing the same thing with your moms. I think what's happening is that they're kind of trudging along their day, and they're maybe not even allowing themselves to dream bigger or think bigger because it's like an impossibility. You know, I got 4 kids, who's got time for that, all of that stuff. And so I think you're doing the same thing.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's really a reclaiming your identity of who you actually are, instead of kind of checking that at the door to motherhood. Like, okay, now I'm a mom, so I'm no longer, like, we're still a human being with dreams and goals and wants and needs and all of that. So yeah, just giving permission, I think, and space for moms to explore that and have it be safe. And, you know, it's missing right now in the world. So I feel very passionately about doing that for moms.
And I wonder how much of it is like almost looking back to before you were a mom and saying, well, what things did I used to do that I love that I'm not doing now? Like, I could easily see like, oh, I used to dance, or I used to do this, right? You know, is that part of your process with helping moms, is helping them kind of, who am I at the core? Like, who am I?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I will say too, not just from before becoming a mom, but there are things that your kids bring out for you, or that, kind of experiencing things through your kids' experiences. So, whether they're doing sports or art, or, something might be awakened in you that you didn't know was there, or that has been latent for a long time. And I do think it's definitely a huge part of it to just sort of spend time with that and figure it out, get to the bottom of it. And it's not always the easiest thing to do. And again, I can say that because it wasn't easy for me either. I really needed support and other people's perspectives to help me do that pullback and see, oh yeah, I am really this person. And I want to be more her,
Yeah. Well, what's so fun hearing you talk about it too, it almost feels like you get to do it your childhood all over again when you're a mom. If you're doing it the way from the perspective you're talking about, where you've got the self-care, you're taking care of yourself, and you're garnering your own experience from it, it's like you get a do-over. And how many of you wouldn't love a do-over of your childhood, right? You get to have the do-over and figure out like, oh, hold on, maybe I do like art. After all, I didn't think I did, That's kind of cool, Heather. Do you have any other advice for moms today? Like somebody is listening to this and they're saying like, yeah, I want my sparkle back. What's something they could do today that would help move them in that direction?
I think honestly, just sitting down with that idea of what is self-care for me, and really drilling down to the basic of that. Is it time spent with someone in my life? Is it time outside? Like what is the core thing that I could do, preferably for free today, that will move me more towards prioritizing self-care every single day? I think that is just the hugest thing that anyone could do.
I love that so much, and I love that it's so individualized. I remember somebody, and I know who it is, but I won't say you just in case you want to be outed. But she was saying like, I just figured out I don't like hot baths. She's like, I don't get the appeal. Everybody is like, oh, take a long hot bath, and she's like, I hate them, And it's like,
I don't have to clean the bathtub. Then I have to clean the bathtub. No way.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like being able to have that epiphany where you're like, okay, what do I like? I'm going to put that list down and write. If I can do it for free, even better. So good stuff. Heather, this was so great. Thank you so much for being here. I just enjoyed this so much. What a blast.
Me too.
Yeah, you're so awesome. I love it. And everybody, go check out Heather over at sparkleheather.com, and go check out her bullet journal at sparkleheather.com/bujo. And you get what she's saying here. What Heather is talking about really is the stuff that we're all trying to do in our businesses and apply it to motherhood, trying to find a way to be your authentic self, trying to find a way to figure out what you like to do. What are the things you like to do? Look for those feel goods, follow the path of joy, look for that path to light up, and follow those signposts and do it. And I'd like to just put her up as an example of, sometimes you're making a shift and you are having that little bit of anxiety that we might call fear, but maybe that little bit of anxiety or fear is actually a little bit of an excitement of the possibility that's coming and the you that's becoming, And so don't be so quick to think like, I can't do that, or I can't make the shift, or I can't step into my celebrity, or not me. They're the celebrity, but I'm not. Because as she says, you all sparkle. Every one of you has a sparkle. Every one of you is capable of stepping into your celebrity. And it doesn't have to be a big, hard thing to do. You can just start to take those baby steps today. You can start to own your celebrity today by just claiming it and being nice to yourself and saying those good things about who you are in the world, and try to see yourself like other people see you. If you can't get there yourself, then try to get outside of yourself and go, she's kind of neat. I like her. I'm going to just move in that direction. And you can do that today. And we'll see you next time on The Mind Aware. Bye, everybody. Mwah. See you soon.